Anatoly is by far one of the biggest content creators of all time. But what makes him interesting compared to other fitness influencers is that he isn't judged by his physique. Well, at least not by normal standards. While every other influencer is trying to get bigger, Anatoly is known for getting stronger. At just 174 pounds body weight, he benched over 330 pounds for reps, squatted 460 pounds, and deadlifted 705 pounds. Pound for pound, that places him deep into elite territory, arguably within the top fraction of a percent of lifters. And that's what makes him unusual. In fitness, size usually predicts strength. Bigger people tend to lift more weight, but Anatoly breaks that pattern. So the question is, how does someone under 80 kilos outlift bodybuilders nearly twice his size? Is it just rare genetics? Or is there a specific way he trains that most lifters overlook? So in this video, we'll break down how Anatoly structures his workouts, training, and recovery. And later, I'll reveal the hidden methods behind how he builds muscle differently from most people. Okay, so first up, his warm-up, which is surprisingly one of the key factors on how he's so strong. Anatoly prioritizes warming up joints and supporting muscles, because for him, strength isn't just about lifting the most weight, it's about lifting heavy for a long time. It's focused on joints, connective tissue, and stabilizing muscles that actually determine how safely force can be produced. Most lifters focus on the prime movers, like chest, back, and legs, but smaller stabilizer muscles and connective tissues can often be a limiting factor. Your muscles might be strong enough to move the weight, but if your tendons, joints, and stabilizers aren't prepared, they become the weak link. By warming up properly and strengthening support muscles, he's doing two things. He's reducing injury risk, and he's improving force transfer. A stable shoulder, knee, or hip can actually produce more force because energy isn't leaking through poor stability. So his warm-up isn't just injury prevention, it's a performance strategy. Once the warm-up is finished, Anatoly moves into a part of training most people associate with strength. Except, his approach looks a little different from the average lifter. Anatoly moves into what's called a power building split. He combines two styles of training: powerlifting, which focuses on moving the most weight possible, and bodybuilding, which focuses on building muscle. So he isn't just chasing size, and he isn't just chasing numbers on the bar. He's training to build muscle that can produce force and strength that's supported by size. And the way he does that is prioritizing heavy compound movements at the start of each workout. Compound exercises are usually movements like squats, deadlifts, and bench presses. These are movements that involve multiple joints and multiple muscle groups working together. They demand coordination and stability. Plus, they allow you to move the most weight. And that's the reason why they come first. If you want to lift heavy, you have to do it while you're fresh. At the start of a workout, your energy is at its highest. Your focus is sharp, and your nervous system is ready to fire. Later in the workout, fatigue sets in, your stabilizers get tired, and output drops. So Anatoly chooses the most important lifts at the very beginning, when he could give 100% effort. For each of these main lifts, he typically performs 2 to 5 working sets in the 3 to 8 rep range. These are low reps but relatively heavy weight. And between sets, he'd rest long enough to fully recover, usually more than 3 minutes. This is so he gives himself enough time to regain strength, so each set is almost as powerful as the last. Because the goal isn't to feel exhausted, the goal is to produce force. Now here's something that makes Anatoly's training a little different from the average lifter. He doesn't take these sets to failure, nor does he force ugly reps. Instead, he stops 1 to 2 reps in reserve, meaning if he absolutely had to, he could have done 1 to 2 more reps, but he chooses not to. This is because constantly going to failure builds too much fatigue. When you grind every set, your form starts to break down, your recovery takes longer, and your nervous system gets drained. When that happens, you can't repeat high-quality strength work consistently. So by leaving 1 to 2 reps in the tank, Anatoly keeps his technique clean, manages fatigue, and allows himself to come back to the next session just as strong. Take this for example. Let's say his bench press max is about 350 pounds. On a bench focused day, he might load the bar to about 280 to 300 pounds, which is roughly 80 to 85% of his 1 rep max. He'll perform that at 3 sets of 5 reps. After each set, he racks the bar knowing he could have squeezed out 1 more rep, maybe 2. But he stops there on purpose. He rests 3 to 4 minutes, lets his strength recover, and then repeats the set with the same power and control. So he's lifting heavy enough to stimulate strength, but not so heavy that he's grinding it out, shaking, or pushing to failure. In fact, studies consistently demonstrate that longer rest improves force output, repetition performance, and total volume compared to short rest periods. Once the heavy lifting is done, Anatoly shifts towards a more bodybuilding approach. He might not look massive, but bigger, well-trained muscles have a greater capacity to produce force. When you see very large bodybuilders who aren't as strong as they look, it's often less about muscle size and more about how their training emphasizes fatigue and isolation over full body strength. However, Anatoly approaches hypertrophy, aka muscle growth, a little differently. His accessory work is selected to support performance in the main compound lifts. It's muscle development that's directed at improving strength output in the squat, bench, and deadlift. For his posterior chain, he uses movements like the Romanian deadlifts, back extensions, and hip thrusts. These strengthen the glutes, hamstrings, and lower back. These are muscles that drive heavy deadlifts and squats. For his upper back, he relies on rows, pull-ups, and lat pull-downs. A strong upper back keeps a bar path stable and prevents strength leaks during heavy lifts. Then there's shoulder support work. He does things like lateral raises, rear delt flies, and face pulls, not just to look bigger, but to keep the shoulders healthy. Most of his accessory exercises fall in the 8 to 12 rep range for about 3 to 4 sets. Heavier movements like Romanian deadlifts or rows are usually done for 6 to 8 reps, while isolation exercises like lateral raises or core work are closer to 12 to 20 reps. Smaller muscles like the side delt aren't designed to handle maximum loads. Going too heavy often shifts attention away from the target muscle and towards stronger surrounding muscles. Compound movements, on the other hand, allow heavier loading because force is distributed across multiple large muscle groups working together. The body can produce much more total force than a single muscle working alone. However, Anatoly will sometimes go up to 20 reps on compound movements like the leg press because it is a great way to get a lot of volume in a short amount of time. To recap, he uses heavy, low reps at the beginning of the workout to build maximum strength, then he switches to moderate reps to build muscle. The heavier work trains your nervous system to lift more weight, while the moderate reps help grow the muscles that support those big lifts. By separating the two, he builds both strength and size without getting overly fatigued, which helps him stay consistent and recover better between sessions. After that, Anatoly usually finishes his workouts with body control movements, often using calisthenics. Movements like pull-ups, dips, and hanging leg raises train to control your own body weight, improving coordination, joint stability, and relative strength. When you can control your own body efficiently in space, positioning under a heavy bar typically becomes more stable and consistent as well. Bodyweight movements demand constant stabilization from smaller support muscles around the shoulders, hips, and spine. The same structure is responsible for keeping a heavy bar stable during squats, presses, and deadlifts. He also places strong emphasis on grip and core strength. Grip is often the hidden limiter in pulling movements. If the hands fail before the larger muscles, total force production drops regardless of how strong the rest of the body is. The core serves a similar role. Think of the torso as a transmission system. Force generated by the legs has to transfer efficiently through the trunk before reaching the bar. A stronger, more stable core improves bracing, efficiency, and safety under heavy loads. Okay, so now let's talk about frequency, because this is where Anatoly's approach becomes pretty counterintuitive with the average powerlifter. Despite his strength levels, he only trains about 3 days a week, following a full body split. Most lifters assume elite strength requires constant training, more days, more volume, and more work. But Anatoly does the opposite. He prioritizes recovery. Because heavy compound lifting doesn't only fatigue muscle, it places significant demand on the nervous system. Squats, bench presses, and deadlifts require high motor unit recruitment, coordination, and precise bracing. Even when muscles feel recovered, neural fatigue can still remain. And that could show up in ways like a slower bar speed, reduced coordination, a weaker top-end strength, and an increased injury risk. Additionally, rest days allow the system to recover fully. So those gaps between workouts aren't inactivity, they're part of the training stimulus itself. They allow him to return to each training session capable of producing maximal force again. Less frequency, higher quality output, repeated consistently over time. Okay, so what's the takeaway from the world's strongest janitor? Well, it's easy to say it's just genetics or that he's built different, but when you really look at it, his strength actually comes from a system. He protects his joints so he could train long term, he lifts heavy while fresh so his nervous system adapts, he builds muscle to raise his strength ceiling, and he recovers enough to repeat it again and again. He's not chasing exhaustion, he's chasing performance. And that's the difference most people miss. Because strength isn't built on trying to fight your demons in the gym or pushing yourself as hard as possible. It's about producing force consistently for years. And that's why a 174-pound lifter can outlift guys twice his size. Because Anatoly's training isn't just about being strong today. It's about being strong for years. In a future video, I'm going to go over the science behind Anatoly's strength, so don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for that. In the meantime, you can check out my video where I train like Anatoly for 30 days following his training program. I'll leave a link in the description, or you can click on the card right here. That's all for the video. Please like, subscribe, don't forget to comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time.